Hey everybody, my name is Scott Hallblab. I've always been into adventure and traveling, usually by way of two wheels. About 5 years ago, I thought maybe I'll get an RV. Went around, looked at a bunch of them, didn't like anything I saw. All of them felt claustrophobic or way too big. So then the van life thing started popping off, and I thought maybe this is the best of both worlds. I'm a former designer, carpenter, fabricator. I'll go buy myself a big, long, empty ProMaster and see if I can build myself a house on wheels.
I'm Nate Murphy, and I have literally just bought this van to show you how to build a van. We have made a really detailed course which will help you go from this to this. You will learn everything you need. We help you specify your electrical system, and you'll be able to access a community all building their own vans at the same time.
So as mentioned before, had to have a motorcycle with me, and this is my tried and true Yamaha. Super lightweight, great for running around town or disappearing off in the woods. So in order to do that, I had to get the front hitch receiver, which is specific for the ProMaster, and then this is a steel Black Widow motorcycle carrier, which will hold up to 300 pounds, which is right about what that weighs. The hitch can be really tricky. It's a pretty decent job in itself, but if you don't get everything lined up just right, you'll find out once you take the whole front end off of the van, put the hitch on, and then put the whole front end of the van back on, that something doesn't line up right. So you got to take it all back off again, tweak some stuff and put it back on. So it's not that the thing's poorly made, it's just it's got some little brackets, and if they're not just right, and you don't kind of double check that stuff, you're gonna be kicking yourself in your own butt. So I remember seeing other people with roof decks, and I thought, well, that's really stupid. And then I was up there, put my solar up, and I couldn't believe, like being 8 feet up in the air, how amazing the view was. So now there's a roof deck up there too. This thing's great. I mean, look at the size it packs down to. It doesn't weigh a lot. You can move it around so you can access different areas, wash your solar panels, or just get up on the deck. And then I've got a couple little mounts here. Bought off Amazon. Just hold it up there with your hip. So you guys probably know if you've been in this for a minute, but putting windows in is pretty intimidating. It's the biggest holes you're gonna cut in your van, but this van didn't come with any windows, and I put 4 in from the van windows direct guys, 2 that open and 2 that are fixed. In actuality, putting the windows in is really simple. I mean, you've got guides inside with the ribbing in the van. The system that the Van Windows Direct uses, super simple. It's one big bead of this super sticky caulk basically, and then you just shove them up there. They only just kind of hold them up for a little bit. I clamped them overnight, but super simple, just a little bit nerve-wracking. All right, so this is one of the parts I'm most proud about. I mentioned the motorcycles, but it turns out there's a lot of other things that I enjoy doing. That includes mountain biking, paddle boarding, kayaking, camping, and amazingly somehow I was able to get all that stuff in my garage. So first I want to show you all the mountain bike system. I tried putting it down here like everybody does, made the bed too high, I wanted a nice normal mattress, and I didn't want to bump my head. So this is actually idea number 3. The first one, it was going to go on top of the rack. It's a 29er, so it's too long. Then I came up with a great idea that I could put it on a door, which would have been really cool. It's like an inch, maybe inch and a half too long. So all that failed, and this is what we came up with. So a couple little straps down here just to hold the forks around on these racks, and then you just raise up a little bit, let that drop, set that down, and then one of these simple little, I call them testicle straps, because it's just a ball wrapped up. Peel that off, it's hanging up in the just stock holes. and then spin off your axle, drop it on, and you're good to go. And it saves a ton of space. Just a ton of space. Okay, so in case y'all don't believe me, this is how I managed to get everything in here. This is one of the racks. Inflatable kayak here, inflatable paddleboard down there. This is all my exercise gear. That's all my camping gear down there. And then I rigged this up after a couple weeks of chasing paddles and having to dig them out from under the bed. Just 3 bungee straps. All the paddles sit right there. So, I mean, that's the other thing this provides, right? You get these out, you wanna work on your bike, I can lay out wet gear, leave it out here, let the sun dry it off. I mean, you literally have an outdoor workspace. Okay, so, can't see it too good because of the racks, but electrical, we've got 3 Renogy batteries, 100 amp hours that sit above the wheel well. And then along this back corner here, you've got your Shore, you've got the Samlex Shore hookup. You got your 2 30 and 50 amp plugs mounted to your rack. There's the Sterling B2B charger, 12 volt DC fuse box, solar controller, your bus bars, all your breakers. That's a unit for the Pico monitoring system, and then your main kill switch. So pretty clean and tidy. So ended up with 300 amp hours battery power, lithium, LiFePO 4, and 300 watts of solar Renogy panels on the roof. All right, so a lot of people put showers in their van. I contemplated it for a minute. What I normally do, like when I'm remodeling a kitchen, is I go to Lowe's and I buy a bunch of cardboard boxes. I kind of set them up so I can get like, not just floor plan, but like volume planning. That's what I call it anyway. And I realized as soon as you take something from the floor to the ceiling, your space just shrinks. And I'm very claustrophobic, so that wasn't gonna work. And the other thing that I don't think people are considering is you can't take a good shower in a van. I don't give a shit what kind of shower you build. At biggest, it's 2 by 3 feet. And you've got what, maybe a 30-gallon tank, so you get to take like 2 or 3 gallon showers. So you rinse off, you bang your elbows around on the walls for a little bit, you soap all yourself down, and then you do it again, and it's a miserable, miserable shower, and you've taken up 10% of your floor space in your van. So, whole point of that yap being, I went with the simple tankless outdoor shower. Super simple, very easy to install. Gas line, water line, couple little valves, and then just hung up your thing on the door. I mean, it's super simple, it works great. Gas and water hookup, put a valve on both so you can shut those off, but that's it. It regulates in maybe 3 seconds, and then you've got as much hot water as you want, depending on your tank, obviously. I went with a 20-gallon tank. It's working out pretty good, but I don't think I've gotten my water siphoning just right yet. So I'm filling it up a little more than I want, but it worked great for kind of this application, and I really wanted the garage space. So one of the things I love about van life, I'm sure all y'all do the same, being able to pick your view every day. I sit out here every morning for at least an hour, a little AeroPress coffee under my Smitty-built awning, and just relax. No rush, no alarm clock, no time to check in at work. And for security, I have a cheapy pair of Amazon solar lights, motion sensing, and then I've got these little Wi-Fi cameras, 360 degrees, and I've got the lights on both sides, and I've got a camera on this side and then around the back as well, so I can pretty much see just about everything. So my setup was for dispersed camping. So like most people, there's really no good AC option for that, so I went with the 2 Max Air fans, the Max Supreme whatever. So big thing there, like everybody knows, you're cutting your first hole in the van. Yes, it's nerve-wracking. Like everybody else says though, take your measurements, line it out, cut your hole, use a decent tool. It's really not that bad. Expectations versus actual performance. It's probably on target. I mean, they're not gonna work any miracles. I'd say below 90 degrees, they actually do a decent job. You get a couple days in the 90s, obviously. If it's, you know, still warm at night, you're not gonna sleep that great. but they do move a decent amount of air. And the big thing, obviously, that I knew if I wanted to try this, it was gonna have to feel like home. Otherwise, it wasn't gonna stick. So part of that to me was a nice big kitchen. I'd heard a lot of reviews that people's sinks were too small. Made sure I had a big sink. And also I had to have an oven. To me, it's like, you know, if I can't bake cookies or pizza or whatever, then, you know, where
that ain't living. That ain't living
at all. No. So, other than that, I mean, we did a few neat things. There's this waterfall countertop, kind of goes over the far end down there, ends up being the slide out table for the desk. We did some soft closes on the drawers, which is kind of nice, and also keeps them from opening while you're driving. And then on the upper cabinets, I really don't like the struts, so we just use the hinges that have a locking mechanism in them, and you can set them to different degrees where you actually buy them based on whatever degrees you want, but they lock and then you just raise up and they release. I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but I don't like anything that's not I wanted everything to look house, you know.
Yeah.
So like I can't stand like rocker switches from AutoZone that people use for like it drives me nuts. I spent 4 hours trying to dissect a 3 rocker switch for a house and use the inverter lines and run them in there. Did all kinds of different super glue and everything. Complete fucking failure. So anyway, the inverter switch now had to be hidden because I hated it so much, and it's down under the sink. It'll light up. So I use this as my garbage, and I use the recycling for my hamper, for my dirty underwear. Check out my office. So this works amazingly well. This is the end of my waterfall countertop. It actually slides in next to the range end. I've got a little guide down at the bottom, a couple little screws that hold it in at the top so it doesn't go anywhere. But 90% of the time I just leave this set up. Bought this little light because I don't have any good light up here, no dome light. But other than that, I keep this in my door in the cup holder. And yeah, this is the most comfortable seat in the van, most supportive. So I've worked 8-9 hour days here at the laptop. So this is just, I mean, you know, like most people, blankets, jackets, stuff like that. I keep my shades. I've got the really nice, I think Van Made Gear shades or whatever for the front cab. The big stuff, so paper towels, toilet paper, all that kind of stuff goes up there. All right, so another little useful detail. I needed a shade for the large window, and I really wanted to track where I was going and mark all the spots that I've been keeping this list of that I wanted to see while I was out. So I bought a few different pieces of stock art so I could make something that I like the look of, added all the states and whatnot, and then I went and had this custom printed on a roller shade. So again, following with the home theme, I needed a bench in here for multiple things, and I just wanted to make sure that it looked more like a piece of furniture. So I built the cabinet out, used actual upholstery foam, had that sent off to a poster, had everything covered in vinyl that, you know, looks leather. And then on top of that, what I was able to do in the first, I've got it divided into 3 sections. The first one holds the Propex heater in the bottom, and then there's a shoe drawer on top. The second one holds the separate tiny toilet, and then the third one is the propane locker, sealed propane locker. You guys know what a van bed looks like. What was important to me, because I'm old and I don't sleep very well, I cannot sleep on a foam mattress. So I made sure it's nothing fancy, but it is a spring mattress. Did like everybody else with the inserts, add a little color for some splash. And then this, actually I just added, sadly it's a little phone holder, but I did find that certain places you're not getting a real good signal, so it's nice to be able to throw my phone in here and watch a little Netflix when I can't use my massive big screen over here, which I use whenever I can, and it pivots towards the front if you want to watch TV up there. All right, now we're coming at you from my favorite seat in the house, my good old love seat. It's where I spend my evenings, just kind of chilling out, maybe read a little book, whatever. It's relaxing. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you I was glad I was able to bring you all along on a little tour of my van. I really appreciate Nate giving me the opportunity to showcase my van on his channel. it wouldn't have been possible without his ebook. It really was helpful in getting over those initial hurdles. And I feel like in the end, I've accomplished everything I wanted. I've got a massive garage with all my equipment in it. I've got a spacious interior, including the kitchen and the bed. And then I was able to bring, you know, things like my motorcycle, which was an absolute must. So I just want to say thanks again. I hope I've inspired maybe some of y'all to go out and build your own. And for now, peace out.
You may have noticed that you can buy our ebook. Our ebook shows you how to build a van conversion. It has 190 pages of text, diagram, and images showing you various options of various systems. It also comes with 25 videos that show you hands-on how to do many parts of building a van. Also, we have a course. The course is really in-depth. It shows you everything from how to use basic tools all the way through to doing your gas, your water, and your electric installation. Not only that, but within the course, we support you hands-on in making your electrical specification. And you get to join a community of like-minded van builders who are building their vans at exactly the same time. Follow the links to find out more, and thanks for watching.